3, 2, 1, there you go.
And we are live. It's Casual, the virtual talk show that everybody's talking about. And oh man, do we got a great show. How are you doing this week? How are you?
I'm doing so awesome. I was so awesome that I went all the way back to the 50s and or 60s. You see, look, I got the pearls, I got the polka dots, I got this thing, you know. I wanted to use the Marilyn Monroe kill wig. Shout out Kim Ware. I was gonna do that, but
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, Bob Ross had a conniption. We're looking up for Bob Ross's.
Jonathan is not feeling good again today. Unfortunately, he's not going to be on the show tonight. Maybe we'll see him down in the comments. I'm hoping you're feeling better, Jonathan. I know he's going through a rough time, but I'm really looking forward to this weekend, and I hope he's going to have a good time this weekend too.
Talk about this weekend a little bit, Rory.
We're going to meet. We're going to meet a lot of wonderful people that we've been wanting to meet for a long time. You know, since I got into the Tardan media stuff, and I'm just so excited that I'm going to meet all these people, most of them. So I'm really really excited, and it's gonna be a fun weekend, I think. My daughter's coming with me. I'm going to photograph another museum, which always makes me very happy. I'm going to do that on Sunday. And we get to see Lars and Tom on Saturday, which is going to be great.
Wux Tree Records.
Deborah's going to be there. And I'm going to get to see Sylvia. I'm going to get to see Troy on Friday. We're going to jam together, do some Beatles songs together.
I was just talking to Troy.
Yep. We got a message.
Oh, Jonathan said he might pop in the next 30 minutes. So Jonathan might actually come on screen. That would be great, Jonathan.
Go. That would be nice.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
I hope so. It's not the same show without him.
No, it's not. We love Jonathan. We love the Fipster, Lady Killer. I call him Lady Killer. Anyways, Rory, I guess I'm going to hit a button now.
Well, again, we've got a great show ahead. We've got Dennis Tardan on the show, the master interviewer.
Who is that? Wait, you got to say that name again. I haven't heard that name.
Dennis Tardan.
Is that DENIS or is it two N's?
TARDEN, right?
Yeah, right. Nobody's heard of him. This is a name that is unfamiliar to everyone, even though
TARDAN.
The
man from Texas.
One. Oh, I thought it was a different one here. I only showed up because I thought it was the other one. Oh,
well,
damn it! I'll just stick it through. No, of course, Dennis Tardan is here. This is his network. This is everything. He's everything. He's the man of the hour, and he's going to come and spend an hour of his time with
he
us.
Has spent a lot of his time interviewing famous people, and I've been wanting to interview him myself to find out more about him, about the man, the myth, the legend. So I'm
good
really
luck
excited
with that. We'll see if he allows the flip. Everyone's wondering. That's the number one question people are saying about this. Is he going to allow himself to be interviewed? And we don't know. He says he will.
I think he's ready to tell his story.
I hope
so.
We'll find out. Yeah, we'll find out.
So.
Hello, guess who? I'm back.
Wait a minute.
What is this?
Dr. Augustus Parana, and I just wanted to say that I am so happy for Mr. Dennis Tardan,
Renee,
my old friend, for getting this lovely show. But I want you to know that the only reason the show is going on is because I, Dr. Augustus Parana, allow it.
I don't know if that's true.
With that in mind,
do you have the controls? Can you cut him off?
Rory Palin, you
I've been trying
have a
this
good
whole time
with that wiggy girl. It's the one with all the wigs.
The wiggy girl. That can't be me.
And the other guy who plays guitar. Yes. Have a good time.
I think that was a slam against Jonathan. Oh, I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say. But and then this, what happened? I didn't even do
Dennis Tardan.
I didn't do that.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Renee. Hello, Rory. What a pleasure to be on your show, Rory. And I know that you and Renee have been working so hard on this show. Where did you get the idea for this show? You started, like, when I was on cable access out in LA, you started on cable access too, didn't you?
Actually, my show was the 1989 and 90 was the first It's Casual. And yes, we did that on public access in Tampa, Jones Public Access.
What was the concept of the show?
Well, it was a talk show, but it was a live call-in show. We'd have callers actually call in the show and pretty much abuse us. So it was a whole different concept altogether. And again, my producer kept things rolling, and I never knew what was going to happen next. And we tried to book interesting guests.
Yes, and you had this show, but this is before the internet.
We're here to talk about you, are we not?
But this is before the internet, right?
Well, it's about the same time that the internet broke. Was 89, right?
Right. Well, that was just the very beginnings of it. But you didn't have that. But you didn't have that idea in Tampa, did you?
Actually, I started out as a co-host on a show because I was doing comedy at the time at the Comedy Corner, and then I became a show host on the Gary Platisse Show. Was the name of the show. And eventually, Jim Moss, my producer, said, "You know, how would you like to do your own show?" And that's how It's Casual was born.
So how did you do that? But do you know, this is the whole thing. I sent you before I did this. I sent you some of the.
I didn't think you were going to do it right out of the gate.
Some of the stand-up, that I've done, and I mean, some of the stand-up I've done. Do you remember your first big laugh doing stand-up?
My first big laugh.
Yeah.
I was actually in Lake City, Florida, and I was in a comedy competition. And
I can't stop it,
I was doing the voices that I do. At that time, it was Jimmy Stewart, and I think I did Johnny Cash and some other voices. And I got some big laughs in that, and I ended up coming in second in the show.
How fun. I mean, isn't that an amazing experience to be able to have an audience when they laugh at something that you have actually, that you've crafted and you've brought it together?
Yeah, well, it's a fun. It's the reason that a lot of people get started in comedy. You know, they enjoy that kind of accolade. They enjoy the applause. They enjoy people enjoying what they're doing.
Who were the people that influenced you? But who were the people that influenced you in comedy?
Family in Mexico.
I can't do anything.
Right, in your comedy. In your comedy, you were influenced. Because we all have influences. I mean, I know that when I was a kid.
We were going to save this for your show.
The thing is, all the comments are like, "Look, people, I can't control what happened. We discussed this beforehand. We all knew that it wasn't going to happen.
Right.
It's just
and I left my page of
it's not his native habitat, y'all. It's not his eco.
Renee? Do you not bill me as one of the great interviewers of our time?
Yes,
I mean, would you have a musician on? Would you have a musician on, one of the great musicians on, and not ask them to play? What the hell are you talking about? I mean, if you're billing me as that, I can't do anything else but do that.
What about adding to your resume the greatest guest of all time? You could be both. You'll never know unless you try.
I really thought you wanted to tell your story tonight.
Is it your? I love the way you said that, Rory. Now we talked about this.
Well, now that is very interesting. The Messor has become the Messie.
I know. The interviewer has become the interviewee.
Yeah.
Look at this man back here. Look
All
at
right.
this.
I'm going to. I shall turn the con over to you, Rory.
Well, and you did just hear that I left my questions upstairs, so I'm just going to have to wait.
Dennis, when you were 14, take me back to that year. Take me 14. Back to when you were 14. Yeah, that's the thing he does. That's a Tardan treatment right now.
I was going back further than that. At 4 years old.
Oh, that's a good year.
You actually were, your Mexican family actually had a sombrero business.
Tardan hats. I mean, they are, my family is to Mexico what Stetson is to the United States. And if you look at pictures, any of you go into Google and look at pictures of crowd scenes, let's say in the 1940s and 1930s, you'll see every man wore a hat. It was just something that they did. It was part of our fashion. It was part of the fashion. And not only did they wear hats, but that beautiful silver beaver was the best hats. It was called a 10X silver beaver. And my family partnered with Stetson in order to make that beautiful silver beaver a hat, which is just soft and extraordinary. This was the Stetson process and the Tardan process. My grandfather would, said that my father said, I think we should diversify. We should put the Tardan name on shirts. We should put the Tardan name on different kinds of men apparel. And they said, no, man, hats will be there forever. Well, we know that didn't happen. And that's why I've ended up, I still have the name. They still make Tardan hats in Mexico, although it isn't my particular part of the family. But I'm like one of those British nobility that they only have the title, even though they no longer have the land, they no longer have the money.
So at 4 years old, what brought your family to Texas? Was it the deal with Stetson?
No, it was my mother. My mother decided that my father, who was the second born, was never going to be listened to. So she took me back home to Victoria, Texas, where she lived. And she said, and she told my father, okay, we're in Texas, you come. And he said, can't do it. And they divorced. And so that's how I came to the United States, and I was naturalized when I was 6.
So your mother and father were both Mexican, of Mexican descent.
My mother was Texan. They met in San Antonio. He was going to St. Mary's. She was going to Incarnate Word, and they happened to encounter one another in San Antonio, Texas.
You see, you seem like a nice Jewish boy to me.
How do you like that? How do you like that? I'm a nice Catholic boy.
So, but you're actually full blood. Well, you're actually Texan, mostly Texan.
Right. And but the thing is that what people don't understand about Mexicans is that we go from the whitest of white to the blackest of black. We are a complete shade. The word Mexican, when people refer to it, what they're actually referring to are the Indios, the Indian people, the Toltecs and the Aztecs and all of the X that are throughout Mesoamerica, and that's the people that they call Mexicans. But that's how I came about to be a Mexican.
Understood.
It's Jonathan.
There he is.
Jonathan's here. Thank you for coming.
Hey, Jonathan.
Wouldn't have been the same without you, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good to see you.
I had a little bit of trouble getting myself unmuted there. But yeah, for those of you in the comments who were placing bets on when Dennis would flip the interview.
Out the gate.
There's a lot of y'all that's going to have a Brinks truck of money showing up at your door.
Yeah, everyone was wondering, but it was right out the gate. It was the first thing out of his mouth. But you know, I did think of something, and I did see a few comments in there that, Dennis, it would be nice to hear you do a little with Rory. You're right. You're one of the great interviewers of all time. So I shouldn't have done that. People want to hear that too. We haven't heard a lot of Rory's story either.
Well, and again, I'm hoping that he will have me on Tardan tonight. Not quite to do that properly.
Well, we can certainly. I mean, there is so much about you, Rory, that I find fascinating. Not just your career, but your time in China and your art. And by the way, speaking, I have something right here. Let me go over to the side of my. And
yes.
This came into. Everyone see that? So this came in. This came into my home, and I have not. And I have.
What is it?
I said that I wanted to open it up, and so I thought I would open it up on the air.
So it was his birthday a couple weeks back.
Right, on April the 17th.
I decided to do a portrait.
Live, and you can watch it. People can watch it live if you search in SDF Network.
Just hope he likes it.
Well, I got a chance. I wanted you to
drum roll.
See me open it up live.
This is exciting. This is too exciting.
He's taking his sweet time opening it. This drum roll's going forever.
Oh no!
I pack them really good. Diane will tell you I pack them really good.
Oh yes, you did Tom Petty for Diane.
Throws them around.
All right. Now I'm going to let everybody see it before I see it, so I get a chance to do it second.
I'm gonna laugh when he opens it on the wrong side and he shows it first. He shows himself first.
I know, right?
There is an inscription on the back.
right. All right. So now we have this so far. Now let's make sure that I don't. All right. So now.
Yeah, because I put cardboard on both sides.
Here we go.
Woo! There he is.
There it is.
Yeah, do I have it right?
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
All right. Look at the geezer. Look at that. It's Geezer Fest 2021.
But the shirt is almost, I mean, the shirt is almost, it's like purple and pink right here. Now,
he's got a pink shirt and a purple shirt. Yes.
Now, wait, read the inscription.
Yeah, read the inscription on the back.
All right. It says, to a man who brought me back from obscurity, my good friend, Dennis Tardan, the interviewer. Look at that.
Wait.
Isn't that wonderful?
Good stuff, man.
Thank you.
Rory,
thank you.
Rory,
anyway,
Rory,
I am at 73. It is a wonderful opportunity. And so here I am. Here's the.
So glad you like it.
Go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, both for sending it and for the sentiments.
And what made you want to do that, Rory? What were you thinking about? That's one of the first ones you did live, right? You did Tom Petty, and then I think this might have been one of the first.
I don't think I painted that one on air because I didn't want him to see it beforehand. I don't think I did that one on air. If I did, I think I did Tom Petty on air.
Yeah,
right.
And I did some of my abstracts on air.
Who was it that painted the Tardan portrait on the air, though? Was it you,
Keith
Rory?
Cutts did one as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Casey did two of them too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Dennis, do you have the other one that
I have it right here.
Okay, yeah.
And he did the younger Tardan, so I did the older Tardan. The Tardan of today.
Right.
As I like to call it. I don't like to call it
vintage.
Who's
Rory,
going to do
you
your
might
1948 Dennis.
Rory, you might have another candidate because CJ Peters says, I want a Rory trait.
We'll talk.
Your people will talk.
A lot of people, when they're kids, they want to be astronauts. They want to be famous. They want to be dancers. They want to be, cowboys. You're in Texas. You're growing up. What did you want to be when you were a kid?
What did I want to be? Well, I didn't particularly have aspirations. I was much more id driven. I was very present at the time, and I was looking for what would be fun to do. And that was about as far as any aspirations went. I just didn't think about it. It's weird when I hear other people talk about that they want to be something or that, but I didn't want. I just wanted to explore and to find out what were the things around me that might be fun, that were forbidden, were not going. I mean, I had no aspirations beyond just sating my particular wants and desires at that moment.
But eventually, you wanted to go down the path where maybe you would be famous.
You were supposed to talk about broadcasting.
Right.
So,
when
did that happen?
Okay,
that's really what he was at.
Well, that happened when I had come out of the Army and had from 1970 to 1973, I was in Houston.
Wait. You were in school and you had a guy friend in like 7th grade, and you did a Bob Newhart routine.
Right.
That killed.
Just killed. It was an absolute stunning. I mean, that was my first laugh. That was the thing that I never got past. I never found a higher than that particular experience.
Right.
And I did the Bob Newhart routine. And those of you who know Bob Newhart or know he has one that's called the driving instructor. And the driving instructor is trying to teach a woman to drive, and it nearly kills him and all of them. And this was I memorized the routine. This is the one thing I don't understand about comedy, and that if you're going to be a musician, don't you do covers? Right,
True.
Jonathan?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you do covers, but as comedians, we're not allowed to do covers. We're not allowed to do someone else's material. But how do you get better if we don't get a chance to do that?
I've heard so many stories from so many comics that they did the same thing. They were doing Richard Pryor's routines when they were kids. They were doing George Carlin's bits when they were kids. It's exactly the same. And even Bob Newhart has come up a couple of times.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, you shouldn't do it in front of an audience on stage, other than like your family, or friends, but because that's considered stealing. But yeah, I mean,
but it's not considered stealing if you cover music. Yeah, but if you cover music, how is that not the same thing? I mean, this is just a societal thing that we've come up with, right? I mean, it's not exactly a.
I would suspect that without permission, some musicians would get angry if you're doing a cover of their song and they don't know about it until it's too late.
Right. Okay.
All right.
What is it that you liked about Bob Newhart so much as a kid? I mean, I know he was like a huge superstar, but I mean, what was brilliant.
No, he wasn't a superstar at that time. He was just a star. He had not really ascended in that time, but these were large, round vinyl. 33 1/3 thing. They were called long playing, the LPs, for all the kids out there. And that was what they came on. And I played it on our record player and played it over and over until I memorized it.
I did the same thing with Bill Cosby and with George Carlin. And with Cheech and Chong. Big Bamboo was the first Cheech and Chong album I listened to, and I got the wedding album too. And I memorized all of those.
Yep.
So, again, when we were talking the other day before the interview, I was amazed at how many parallels, between you and I, as far as, our rise to, becoming who we are now, what we've become.
Exactly.
So you got the bug. You decided, I want to be an entertainer.
I want to be on television.
Did you run off to New York City or LA or any place like that to try to make it big?
Absolutely. I ran off to Victoria, Texas to make it big. I went home and they have it is. Well, it actually is. It is an interesting thing for Dennis anyway. That Victoria, Texas was known as having more millionaires per capita than any other city in the United States, because it happens to be right on a huge oil reserve.
I was going to ask about that.
Time. This was before shale, before they were able to go and frack. So there was this huge amount of, there are these beautiful homes and this wonderful society in there. And we were like adjacent to this society. Like we ran with them, but didn't have their money. And did you hear me say money? That's how they say it. They actually say
the Texas
it's actually how you say it. You don't have the money.
Great.
So that was the opportunity to go there. But they had 2 television stations there. And so I went to one of them and learned the business. The news business. Was a sportscaster. Started the I Can't Believe It's a TV Show, which is a show just to talk to people, which became the forerunner after I went out to LA to start Reasonably Spontaneous Conversation out in LA.
Can you talk a little bit about your upbringing with your mom, though? That your mom was an entertainer, so that kind of
right. Oh, well, yeah. My mother Wanda was interesting. That's good. But anyway, she grew up. This is my mother.
Oh,
we can see. Anyway,
yeah.
She grew up in Victoria. Played piano. She was an extraordinary entertainer. I've told people all my life that I have a Liza Minnelli complex. Which is, how do you follow Judy Garland? How do you do that? I mean, how do you possibly do that? I did a joke that when Debbie Reynolds died, because Carrie Fisher died 2 days before, that Carrie was sitting there going, "What? You couldn't have given me 2 days? 2 days before you upstaged me, Mom?"
Oh my gosh.
Jonathan,
Dennis,
I'm sorry, you had a question.
Dennis, I have a question for you. When you first got into broadcasting, were you influenced at all by any of the newscasters of the time, folks like Paul Harvey and the like?
I think I was more influenced by the journalists of the time. I was a big fan of the Cronkites and the Brinkleys and the Huntleys, and those I just thought that were. But you have to understand, this was the era of the white male. See, white men were ubiquitous over television. Every once in a while, you would see some person of color, but other than that, or you would see a woman, but that would be very few and far between. It was our place. This was our position. So we lived there, and that was the way it was. And fortunately, it's not that way any longer.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
So I have to ask, was there an experience that you had that was unpleasant in the journalism business
yes.
in Texas?
Oh, God, yes. I allowed a coach to, as a matter of fact, if you search in the newspaper archives and put my name in there, you're going to see a story. You're going to see a story that I did not get two sources on. I took for truth and from one story, but it turned out that the coach was attempting to get Texas A&M and get Texas A&M in trouble. But I reported it. I took what he said, and it was about some Texas A&M players getting cars and getting this while they were still in school, and I reported it on the wire service. It went nationwide. That was horrible. I have never. That was the worst thing I'd ever done. It's the worst thing to date I've ever done in journalism, as far as just doing it so poorly. And yeah, that was an awful experience. And I'm very, very to this day, I apologize to Aggies everywhere for doing that awful piece of journalism.
Just another case of a Longhorn getting at the Aggies. Diane says here she's wondering if Tom Snyder had any influence on you, Dennis.
Well, actually, Tom did, and so did Phil Donahue. I thought Phil Donahue had a very, very. I liked his style. I liked the way he got to what was going on underneath. And so when I went out to LA and started Reasonably Spontaneous Conversation, the hook on the cable access out there was human beings talking to human beings about the human experience. I was more interested in who the people were rather than spending my time focusing on what they did. So who are you in the process? What do you bring to it? How did it impact you? How did it influence you? Those were the beginnings of how I began, how I really developed my interviewing style.
We might want to run the reel now, Rory. Do you think that'd be a good?
Well, actually, I was going to ask him about the other video clip.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was leading to.
I was hoping that Ken Leak was going to be here,
but he had a video that actually horrified a Texas town. Am I right?
Actually, yes. It more than horrified. It was fairly catastrophic. And in my defense,
which is a bit.
Here we go. Right now. Here we go.
In my defense, it is possible. Just possible that I had been smoking some substance about during the lead up to this. That's one possibility. The second possibility is that Ken and I had been doing this a 15-minute twice a week Saturday and Sunday show, and I'm talking about a comedy show. I mean, it is a lot of work for two people to do. And he and I, and we had some other people that were helping, but he and I were the prime people to do it. But there was I would go to work, and every day I would come by and there was a billboard. And I kept looking at that billboard and I went, oh, now that's interesting. And that is what happened. And it ended up causing, it only was on the air for 10 seconds. But in that 10 seconds, the next day, there was a line outside the newspaper, the news director's office, demanding that I be fired immediately.
Now, and I want to show that video because I think, in your defense, you were ahead of your time. Because
it's not going to be that video, Rory. It's going to be a different video, but it's going to be the same show. But it's not. We don't have that video.
No, I have that, but
right, yeah,
not.
We do not. We don't.
That's not. Please feel free to tune in later.
Why do I send
tune in at another?
Exactly. Let me explain. We have something
in her defense.
No, we have something, Rory. The one you sent me wasn't what got him into that trouble, but it's from the exact same era, and Ken Leak is the same guy that he worked with. Okay.
Well, so I haven't seen the video that actually got him fired, even though he's
nobody in the last few decades has not. I mean,
no,
we have it's there, but
10 seconds, less than 10 seconds of video that incensed. I'm talking about incensed, and I promise you, and this video was so bad that to this day people still do not agree. This is honestly a Ross and Rachel moment. That you were either on the break or not. You either think it's funny or you think it's the worst thing that could possibly be done in the worst taste possible. So it's one of those, but nobody comes down in the middle. It's either one of those two.
Yeah. I'm thinking everybody wants to see that video now that's watching.
We're going to show a clip. We are going to show a clip, though, with
Can you show the clip that we talked about?
Yeah, let me show the other. Jonathan, you want to ask the question first?
Dennis, what could have possibly been that bad that just 10 seconds would send a town of, how big was Victoria then?
50,000 50,000, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What in 10 seconds could make a town of 50,000 go apeshit?
I know.
I know. It must have been on snuff film levels to throw a town into a
and in my defense, when I show this, I'm going to tell not only the backstory. I'm going to leave it at that. But there's an interesting backstory to it.
One of the things that I want anyone to say, I'm not going to give anything away, but what I am going to say is that a prominent person who could have been against it privately told Dennis, "This is great. This is wonderful."
This isn't what. No, she said. No, this isn't what she said.
The video we are about to see is kind of a.
No. The video was a lead up. It was a lead up to all of this. This was the kind of humor. What you'll see, what I think you're going to be seeing, is the kind of humor that we were doing. This is a fake commercial that I had the idea for, and Ken Leak wrote the script.
Right. So let me play that now then, guys. Hold on.
So you can get a sample.
Yeah.
We're waiting. Oh, there it goes.
It's just my screen, guys. It's just the internet.
Are you tired of seeing this every time you try to give your child a laxative? Well, change it to this with new Flintstone suppositories. Yes, next time your child's pebbles are on the Bam Bam, make sure Flintstone suppositories are there. They're available in three formulas: regular, extra strength, and Wilma. Remember, Mom, that's Flintstone suppositories for when they're yabba dabba do, yabba dabba doesn't.
That was
okay, and that's brilliant.
The lines. Look at the lines in there when they're yabba dabba do, yabba doesn't. Kidding? That is
Dennis. Again, not long after that, I was doing the same type of shtick, the same type of commercials, and
That's our parallels, Rory.
If they had been doing stuff in New York City, I mean, Saturday Night Live was doing stuff that was much more controversial, I think, in the 70s. So I think a lot of it was where it was.
That happened to be in 1982.
82.
82. Hey, Dennis, how did you and Ken Leake cross paths? Because I know Ken was a very young, he was younger than I am now when you met.
High school. I just right out of high school, and I had met his parents, and Ken is, well, I mean, you've heard the expression odd duck.
Yeah. I fit that description.
You understand, Jonathan. You understand that you understand, and Ken was this brilliant comedy mind. He was into comics. He was done, and his parents, somehow I had connected with his parents, and they introduced us. And it was not long ago I said, "Hey, we get, let's pitch this idea for a TV show," and we did.
Now, because of that, you ended up moving to Corpus Christi. Am I right?
After I got fired, yes, we were. I went to Corpus Christi, and as a matter of fact, I used a sizzle reel from the Weekend Journal to get the job in Corpus Christi, and so I was the crazy feature reporter for the biggest television station in Corpus Christi, which was, that this is like, after the rapes, the murders, and the car wrecks, here's something to take your mind off of what we just saw, and that was me.
We've got that sizzle reel, do we not, Renee?
Let's do a recent sizzle. This is a recent one.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, that's the one yeah. Hold on.
You have the calm number one.
I have, yes. Let me get that. So this is
for you trekkers out there.
I feel like this is a cool little retrospective of Dennis's career here. So let's watch this.
All right.
Just slow Wi-Fi, guys. It's not a slow Renee. It's a slow Wi-Fi.
Hello, world.
It's all good.
Thank you.
Here's a taste of how I've used my interviewing and production talents over the past 40 plus years. These are many ways I connect people.
How would Bugs Bunny describe Mel Blanc? How would Bugs Bunny describe?
Well, let's see now. Bugs would say, "Oh, Blanc is a genius."
Talk to me about Texas and what Texas is.
There's a lot of great music that's come from here. Forever. The dirt. It does. It kind of grows.
I guess I just have to resort to the traditional method. Hey, girls, want to be on TV? Dennis Tardan, 3, Eyewitness News.
My mom in the Air Force.
Whoops.
She had to stop wearing the uniform when she started playing her pregnancy.
It's plastics to, I mean, one of the people that lives here, she wrote a book on gray water systems. How to use gray water from your buildings to water your plants. And keep that going. Yeah. And
how many people get an opportunity to do what I do with my wife? I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, if you want to look for a gift in my life, oh, mackerel.
So we agreed, okay, his parents and my parents will meet and we'll agree on how we will bring up the boy together.
Plan, labor, and hey.
The conversation is not happening because we're all busy going about our daily lives. And if it doesn't, if you don't feel like it affects you directly, then you don't engage in that conversation. So.
Oh, there he is. Hey. Look who's there.
There you go.
There's Dragon Elvis. That was an awesome reel. I mean, we got Stevie Ray Vaughan there. We got some major entertainment there. What would you say were your favorite interviews?
I think. Well, I think
know there's a lot of
I think at one time Chris Everett was think Princess Diana. She was that popular and huge. This was back in 1970. let's say 4, and I got an opportunity as a wire service reporter to interview her, and she just sat with me, and we sat for like 45 minutes. I was literally a nobody that she would never know, and she just sat and relaxed, and we talked about life and being in tennis and the work she's done. That was a terrific opportunity. And Peter Tork, that was a lovely one that I had. Renee directed a show with the sons of Danny Arnold, who is the icon who did Barney Miller and Bewitched and That Girl and so much. And we got a chance to talk with his sons recently, and that was a lovely interview. You know, the thing about interviewing, Rory, is that it's very hard. It's like choosing among your children as to who is a favorite. Each one is precious for its own right because it's a human being. Corey Lynn, I got a chance to spend some time with Corey Lynn Green, and she just knocked me out. There was a kindness and a brilliance and a steelness. This is one powerful woman, and yet she has this extraordinary heart and this drive and this resilience and creativity. I was moved so deeply. So it's very hard. I feel like that whatever favorite interviews are going to be, they're going to be the ones to come.
Yeah, I really liked the Amber Taylor one that he did on Tardan Tonight, Not Quite, and then Tom Cheshire more recently.
Tom and Lars and I love CJ who rescued us that very first show. CJ who when things were so screwed up, we were completely we were in nothing. It was not working, and CJ came in and saved our bacon.
And it was an amazing interview. I do want to say to everybody, because this is interesting. Last year,
as opposed to what?
Yeah,
why do you say that?
Rather than the
this is interesting, as opposed to everything else. As opposed to everything else that I say. I'm
going to be interesting now, people. Don't let Dennis bore you anymore. No, I want to tell this like funny story, because this to me is this is a Dennis Tardan type of story. Okay, so last year I'm producing a show. I can't
control her.
No, you can't. I tried. I'm off the rails.
You just found that out, Rory. You're just finding this out, right?
Okay, now here's the thing. I get him this guest, Marnix. You guys can. I'll post it at some point. I get Marnix. Look at his face. He knows. He knows what I'm talking about. I get him Marnix, and Marnix is like a motivational.
Marnix Powell.
Yeah,
and he's an international motivational speaker. He's this great coach, and it was like, I don't know if you've ever brought a new puppy home to a cat. It was like that. That's the way he reacted. It was like awful. He was like, are you kidding? What the hell are you doing? I mean, it was exactly. That was it. That was
okay.
For an hour.
Oh, me.
In my defense, so from my point of view, here's what's going on. Okay, so I get him this guy, and I watched all these guys' TED Talks or whatever, and his whole thing is positivity, motivation, kindness, and peace. That was his whole thing. The dude sits down and within a nanosecond decides he hates Dennis. Like for no apparent
Wow! So it was a sham from the go.
It's just one of those, one of those chemistry things. It's just one of those chemistry things where I do not like this guy, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here.
So Marnix is here. Marnix was in the Netherlands or something. So he's like, and Marnix is literally like staring Dennis down, like, make me like you. You know, you give him Dennis is doing his best. I mean, he's giving him everything. Dennis
I'm giving it everything I got. And this is nothing against Martin, because I know, I mean, I do this story about 3 guys that are on their way home from the Sermon on the Mount. right? And there's three guys, and the first guy is just absolutely in paroxysms of joy. He's just, oh my, I have seen the light. I now understand. The meek shall inherit the earth. This was an extraordinary. Did you see how he fed the masses? We were just, oh, it was just amazing. My life has changed. There is nothing. I know I have met my Savior. The middle guy says, well, yeah, that was pretty good. The fish was a little dry, but some interesting things. I'll ponder them. The guy was a reading decent speaker. I'm fine. Third guy goes, what a load of crap. Are you kidding me? He's just one of those magicians, traveling rabbis that goes around and does these magic tricks. You've seen him 1,000 times. Those homilies don't make anything. All of us have seen it in the synagogues. This is ridiculous. He's the worst. This is terrible. You guys are nuts. So I think about that. Because that must have really happened. It must have, and I think about anytime I bomb, I sit there, well, who do I think I am? Jesus Christ?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, you can't. Right. And I tell myself the same thing. And it's true. It puts it in perspective. And what I wanted to say, though, is when Marnix did that to Dennis, here's what's so beautiful about it. Of course, as it's happening, I'm thinking to myself, because I was like mortified. How could I have put him in this position? What did I miss? What's going on? Dennis, at some point in the course of the hour, starts literally, he goes like this. He goes, how do I make you like me? He just comes out and he's so honest. He goes, I'm sitting here trying to say, how does Marnix like me?
I'm doing my best. Come on, Marnix.
Like you're praying to him. You're like, Marnix, intercede for me. All of my patrons say,
give me a break, please.
Give me a fucking break, dude. You're positive. And here's the thing, is that by the end of that hour, Marnix was like, this is one of the best experiences I've ever had. I so like you, man. I so get you, man. Like he flipped it on Marnix. And to me, that's one of my favorite interviews, because we went from a guy being like, I fucking hate you for no apparent reason, and I'm Mr. Positivity, to, oh my gosh, you're an amazing interviewer, and I've learned
Obviously
so much about myself. And so that to me stands out as this beauty of what Dennis will do, the Dennis magic. You get him there. I mean, Michael Nesmith, he met with Michael Nesmith over Christmas, and Michael Nesmith cried when he had to leave Dennis Tardan, cried when he had to leave him. Sandy wants to know who treated you the best, Dennis. So we know Marnix treated you the worst.
I just can't believe that Dennis Tardan got away with a Norm Macdonald on my show just now. He told a joke.
No, it was a good one. And it was such a good one. We're going to direct that into a sketch.
Can you tell us about your time on Saturday Night Live?
Okay, we got to answer Sandy. So who treated you the best,
Sandy.
Dennis? Yeah. Who treated you the best?
Again, I just have
the answer is me. The answer is me.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Go to the second
on the
best.
very first. Here's
Go to
the
second
thing
best.
is that in
that's a boring thing.
February. It was February of 2019, right?
What are you talking about? You got both of those wrong.
The first interview that we did.
No, you got both of them wrong, and we're going to do the second best. I just said that because that's a whole other show. That's a whole other thing. Talk about your second best.
My second best.
You got both dates wrong.
Right, well, this is really hard exactly.
Here she goes.
Does anyone realize? Everyone knows that, right? I mean that memories are really, really interesting things, and that's one of the things that I love about my age, is that I know that there are many things, and I know that the way I remember them and the way they actually were are totally different, because I have video. I have video to prove that my memories are wrong. I can actually go back there and prove that what I thought really happened didn't happen. So, as far as I know about history, who knows?
Okay, but who treated you the nicest? Which guest over the years, if one could stand out? Doris Roberts, I thought, was very beautiful.
She treated me so graciously. So that was a lovely. That was a lovely. The woman that you saw in the turban and the beautiful African woman. Her name is Karumbu Ringera, and she is, if there is going to be a Nobel Prize given out because of what she's doing in Africa and bringing water and doing all the things, it's gonna be her. And she, I would have to say, she was probably one of the most profound experiences, and she just treated me with such openness and grace. But then I get that a lot. You have to understand, I live a charmed life. Not only am I white and male and privileged, but people are so nice to me. They are really, really nice to me. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? I have had the most...
Except for Marnix.
But you're the reason for that. You are the best at what you do. You're very good at what you do. And
Thank you.
You've built that reputation. You get respect because of your past and what you've done.
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. It is important to me because in my spiritual philosophy, I believe that the universe, as Jesse Jennings taught me, is that the universe has only one answer to every single question, and that's yes. Oh, life is so hard and everybody's against me and I just hate it.
Why are you Southern? Why are you Southern?
Because I can't do your goddamn...
He's impersoning me is what he's doing.
I can't do your Syracuse accent. Your damn Syracuse, your dent and you know, and all the...
Orange.
Dennis.
It's so funny whenever Renee and I are having a conversation, and I'll stop her right in the middle of we'll be having this really intense, amazing conversation, and then I'll stop her right in the middle and correct her grammar. Just to be able to...
That's what's important at that moment. That's what's fucking important.
Right. Dennis, I already know you're gonna do the same thing to me because, as you know, us Southerners, we done talking gooder than everybody else. So
damn right.
All that good stuff. Dennis, with the Marnix interview in mind, who is maybe some other, or what was maybe some other interviews that maybe went south, and try as you might, you couldn't save them?
Well, Billie Jean King did not want to talk to me. She was not. As a matter of fact, she lied to me on the phone because because she picked up the phone. I was able to get her hotel room number, and she picked up the phone, claimed she was her sister. No, I know, but anyway, but I finally did it. I finally did get an interview with her, but we sat down on the floor in an office and sat down and had an interview, but it was hard. It was a tough interview, and I just respect and admire that woman so much. I mean, she is really she's the real deal.
You know, the Peter Tork interview was also interesting, and it's gotten so many views over the years. Ken Leak posted it, but that interview, people see it both ways, you know. But Peter loved it, and Dennis loved it too. But that was an intense interview.
That interview didn't go downhill though until Dennis outed Peter Tork as an old man.
It's always the age thing. It's always the age. Dennis outed me, which really.
Rock and roll artists don't like it when you call them
scrambled my brain.
Wow, Mick, you're really old now. They just don't like that.
No, but some of these interviews, and then you know, but generally he's saying the truth. I mean, I've seen so many interviews, and everyone's so nice. I want to give a shout out to Clay Boykin, because he's been a guest too, even though you guys work together. He's also been a guest on Reasonably Spontaneous Conversation and ACW.
God, and Rory, you need to have Clay on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he is, and what we're doing, what Clay is doing, is in search. He's not only sponsoring Reasonably Spontaneous Conversation with his, he has In Search of the New Compassionate Male, which is really bringing, because the thing is that we men, stay out of this for a while, Renee. But anyway, we men have kind of taken the world about as far as we can, as far as being in the hierarchical male patriarchal structure, and we're having to invite in and to help to see what we can do. And so he has a movement. Clay has a movement called In Search of the New Compassionate Male, and you can look at it on clayboykin.com and see some of the extraordinary interviews with people from around the world where we men are stepping up. We men are stepping up, and you know that, Rory, because you have a daughter, and you understand what that means, and what that means in order to be able to be a compassionate male, and to be able to say that there's nothing soft about being a compassionate male. It is an active verb.
I don't know.
What? Come on, grammar police.
You're the grammar.
Come on, somebody. No, I'm not. I'm a grammar deputy like Barney Fife. I'm no police.
Well, now, Renee.
We only got 5 minutes, and I got to go to the private chat. So George wants to know, Dennis, what is an interviewing style that you respect currently?
I tell you, Nicole Wallace on MSNBC. She does Deadline White House. I absolutely adore her, and I adore her interviewing style. I think she is a powerful. And Brian Williams. If anybody out there knows Brian Williams, and Renee claims to have a contact with him, but I've never seen it. But anyway, do that.
Just another one of my lies.
I so want to interview Brian. I would love to interview, and I would love to interview Nicole too. But those are two of the really wonderful interviewers in my opinion.
What is the style that you respect in them? Can you describe the style that resonates with you when you're watching?
That was a great question, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, George.
Thank you.
Okay, what is the style then?
My style. I admire myself.
I do the ego again.
Right. So it's all about me. It's
what is your style?
As a matter of fact, I have this, me. Or I'll do the Mexican version.
He got to the 56th minute.
Here's the Mexican version. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
I.
Okay.
We'll allow that, Tardan. We'll allow.
Patty wants
Dennis, deserve it.
Patty wants to know, other than It's Casual, what's a dream destination for you as a guest? Thank
you.
Maddow.
Okay.
Rachel Maddow. I swear to God, if I ever get on Rachel Maddow, and you may hold me to this, I'm going to say, thanks. She'll introduce me for whatever it is, and hopefully it's something serious or whatever it is, and then I will sit there and I will go, "Thank you, Rachel. It's nice to be here." And then I'll look at the camera and go, "I'm on Rachel Maddow. I am on. Look at everybody. I'm on Rachel Maddow." And then I'll stop.
And she keeps pushing you on.
No, and then I'll stop. I'll stop right there and then answer the question after I go batshit crazy for about 10 seconds, and then do that because she's like my hero.
Hey, Dennis,
would you like me to dress up like Rachel Maddow for you?
That could get
because I got wigs and stuff.
Hey, Dennis, I wanted to ask. I wanted to get your opinion on a few different interviewers and personalities, if that's all right with you.
Sure.
Before we get, I'll mention 3 names. First, Larry King. What did you think of him and his interview style?
I didn't watch a lot of Larry King. I didn't watch a lot of it, so it wasn't. I think it's a matter of taste. Like different people. It's just like how you'll listen to 2 different musicians, and one musician will really go like, "Wow, man, that really resonates," and there'll be a whole genre of people. I mean, a whole audience of people that will really groove to that person, but this other person will go, "Well, it's good music, but it doesn't really float my boat," and that's the way it is with me and Larry.
Terry Gross.
Wonderful. just absolutely what a gifted NPR. She's just I admire her so much. I would sweep up behind her any day. That she is amazing.
Yeah, really good.
Tom Snyder.
Oh yeah.
I like Tom for his time. I like the fact that he was sardonic, and he was and he had a sense of humor in what he brought, and so yeah, I would aspire to be some portion of a Tom Snyder.
I'll touch on one or two news people as well, since we're diving into that. Paul Harvey.
He's just a tremendous and extraordinary storyteller.
Yes.
So if I could have his storytelling chops, I would love it. I would always love listening to the rest of the story.
Oh, yes.
He's a brilliant raconteur.
Yes. Barbara Walters.
It's just amazing. I mean, the groundbreaking. Imagine being really to do the first, to be the first to be able to go out there and to have her and to break ground and to take the kind of criticism that she took all along the way and to continue to do her work. I admire her.
Just one more, since we're over time. John wanted to know how long was Reasonably Spontaneous Conversation on? I'm assuming he means the original one, and why did it end?
It was on for I would say about 9 months, and it ended because I ran out of money and drove my motorcycle out in front of a car, and there was a motorcycle wreck where my foot was the contact point between the car and the motorcycle, and it swelled up this, and I didn't know and this was at the time when we were like at the end of the rope. I really think, and this was in 1980, and I mean 1979, and I really think that it was my way of getting away from that. I just wasn't ready. I was not emotionally ready for the kind of success that was being offered and the opportunities that were being. I just wasn't ready. So this was my way of getting out of it. I promise you there are better ways and more constructive ways of doing it. But that was the only way. I basically chewing your, where you chew your paw off to get out of the trap. That basically psychologically, if I could look back on the psychological map, that's what I think it was.
Dennis, do you feel like you've reached the pinnacle of your career? Do you think that there's a lot more out there?
Oh God, no! I feel like I'm barely beginning. I have no idea. I have no idea if I'm going to be waking up tomorrow. I've really come to great peace with my own death, with my own. I have no idea what I'm going to have, but I do know that as long as I'm on the planet, I'm going to be going for it. I don't know what, but I'm gonna be going for it. I'm gonna try to do as many interviews and this isn't just to get larger names. I want to do things that are impactful. Today I was able to do part 2 of an interview with a young woman who is just starting Yale, and she is just God, the work that she's done, and the fact that I could get some of the interviews of her and her life story. It was just a lovely experience, and being here with you all. Jonathan, when I watch you and I watch the way that you're growing and the way that you're growing and learning all the time, it's just absolutely extraordinary. And Rory, I'm seeing for you to continue to do not just your art, but to continue your work in your fatherhood and to continue to develop your comedy and to see exactly where it's going, not knowing the end of the road, but being willing to take those steps and being able to do it. And then
I'm gonna do one more question.
And finally, a woman who has certainly in every way accelerated just not only my life, but the life of you, Rory, and the life of you, Jonathan, and that's you, Renee, because you're quite the catalyst, and by the way, that word has nothing to do with cattle, so don't.
I thought you were gonna call me a cow. I thought you were gonna
there we go. I knew. I mean, she can take any compliment. She can take any compliment, turn it around, and make it into the worst thing that could possibly be. So that's not. I mean, that's her. But your opportunities, what you have, both what you do to bring the conversations to a higher level and to really to bring out the best in us is an extraordinary gift. And you do that whether you're on, or you do that whether we're together in a meeting or whether or not we're on stage. It doesn't matter where it is. I always get an opportunity to bring my best when I'm around you. So that's what I'm getting.
I believe that Renee is the sun in the solar system that we have here now, with all these entertainment people that are so wonderful and loving and caring. And Renee is the one that's pulled all that into her gravitational pull.
Definitely. She's definitely one of the brightest rays of sunshine I've ever come to know. And Dennis, your catalyst comment, I think, not just applies for us three. Yep. It applies for everyone she comes in contact with,
and will come in contact with.
Yep, she even on her darkest days, she brightens us all.
Yep,
that is a damn powerful woman right there.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it, and that's what. And this is the time, and I wanted it because we talked a little bit about this with Corey Lynn, and I know that we're going over time, but I want to just add this, in that this is a time when alpha females are standing up around the world. Now, there are not a lot of archetypes for alpha females, but we're talking about alpha females who are truly Christine Lagarde and anyway, there are lots of examples out there that we're seeing. I mean, women who are standing up, our Vice President, Kamala Harris, Michelle Obama. These are powerful women, and these are what we need. We need these extraordinary women standing up and taking their places, beside and in many ways leading and taking the lead. What we're doing, and Renee, this is what I've been so proud of you, because when you and I first met, you wanted to be the support role. You wanted to stand in the back. I do not want to get out in the front of I do not want to get out in the center stage. And I knew for goddamn sure you belonged there. And I asked you, I invited you, and I pled for you to do that. And you did it. And you're doing it. And you're standing in center stage. You're owning your power. And that gift of your doing it is blessing so many people, and certainly blessing me.
Yes.
Well, I want to say thank you. Oh, Jonathan, sorry.
And Dennis, what you did with Renee and getting her into the spotlight is precisely what she did to me, not only through me being a part of this, but also being a part of One Hit Wonderful. And it means a lot to me.
Being the driving force behind One Hit Wonderful, training wheels.
Well, you were the one that pitched the idea, Renee. But for Renee and you, Dennis, to take a chance, and Rory, to take a chance on someone like me, it really, really does mean a lot to me. And I love you all for that.
Oh, it's not only our pleasure.
We're able to be here tonight.
Yeah, and there is, and that's the thing, is that both Renee and I and you, Rory, one of the things that we do is that we know talent.
That's true.
And Jonathan, you are chock full of talent. That's the reality. And I want to say, we talked about this a little bit, but I always want to talk, be really, really clear. So so when I met Dennis, I was going to just keep going with like law. And also my lupus was really bad. And I'm not going to cry because I don't want to waste more time as a producer. That would piss me off. So I'm not going to allow myself to cry, but everybody should know, if they don't already know, Dennis Tardan is the reason why. It's not just the hair hats, and it's not just my confidence, and it's not just me getting back into entertainment. It's not just the joy and my health and the beauty of every. I don't want to cry, but my point is, it is him. It's definitely him. So he's started this whole thing. So any good that people are getting out of me, definitely.
We all thank you, Dennis, for the opportunity, for what you shared with us tonight, and we thank you, Renee,
we love
for
you,
keeping
man.
it all together.
Well, that is the very definition of my pleasure.
Yes.
And next week on this show, we are going to have Corey Lynn.
Yeah.
So that's why I was smiling every time you said Corey Lynn's name, along with Smokestack Betty Dodson. So it's going to be quite a show.
Corey and Smokey. God,
actually, the next 2 weeks are going to be all music shows, because the week after that, we're going to have Tom Cheshire and Troy Moore together on the show.
Oh,
Good
man, Troy
God,
Moore.
yes. That is.
And after that,
I love being.
We're going to have comedian Eddie Brill, who booked the talent for the Tonight. Not the Tonight Show, the David Letterman show for a while. And he's a brilliant comic, and he's getting the entire show for himself because he's got a lot of stories about the business, and it's going to be a great month. So stay tuned.
Congratulations.
And I have one more question that I didn't get to, but Linda wanted to know, do you still get butterflies in your stomach when you're doing interviews or going on air? I don't know how she phrased it, but something like that. Do you still get nervous, basically, when you're performing, Dennis?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you. This is all about you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know who you were talking to.
No, she was talking.
Yes. But they manifest themselves in different ways, and to me, it's more excitement, and it's a wonderful opportunity. Oh, and by the way, one of the things I do want to make one shout out to someone who has been delightfully supportive in so many ways, and who knows Renee probably, and knows aspects of Renee that other people do not know, and that is Bob Ross. Because from the very beginning, Bob Ross has had this wonderful this sense of humor, this ability to comment and to bring that wonderful Athens energy.
Yes.
And I'm just so happy. Anytime that I see his name around, I know that we have been we've been truly gifted to have Bob Ross.
Yes, sir.
He's very supportive.
Bob is one of the great ones.
He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah, everyone's going to be hanging out at Bob Ross's estate, actually, right? So you all guys are going to be down there
in June, and then
actually he's going to bring Jonathan up to Atlanta on Saturday, and that's when I'm going to meet him and Jonathan.
Yes, but Rory, you and I and Renee will all be together at Bob's in August, and that will be a hell of a time.
Rory's like, I don't know about that.
We're off.
Not sure if I'm going to be there in August. I'm sorry.
We're over time, guys. We're going to get booted. We gotta go. But thank you to everybody, and
love you all.
Thank you, Dennis Tardan, for letting us share some of your life. It's long overdue, I think. And thank you guys for a great show. It's a wonderful show. And thank you, Kim Ware, for letting us do this and letting us go for time. We're sorry.
Kim Ware. Damn, that woman is amazing.
And tomorrow, the BLT show at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Kimono My House.
Tom Cheshire, Aria, Dawn, and Lars.
It's going to be an amazing show, so everybody check that out. And then One Hit Wonderful will be on Friday this week.
Yes, because I will be spending our normal Thursday time slot getting ready to go to Athens, but we will do it Friday at 8 p.m. in Kimono My House with our first international guest, the one and only Mr. John Duncan from Hobart, Tasmania.
All right.
Well, bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Love everybody.
Have a great night.
Love you all.
Yes.